Greetings, Flesh Wound Horror freaks, and welcome to Flesh Wound Horror Live. I am Flesh Wound Dan, joined by producer Todd.
Good evening.
And that other Krueger, Mike Krueger. Krueger, how goes it?
Welcome to prime time, bitch. This is never that my intro has never been more appropriate than it is tonight.
Yes, because tonight we are talking the brand new documentary Hollywood Dreams and Nightmares. The Robert Englund story is a Screambox exclusive coming out June 6th to Screambox, and so very excited. And digital. Very excited to review this. Been in the making for a very long time. A lot of documentaries been in the making for a very long time. So this is certainly one that's been highly anticipated.
I'm glad that we have like a new renaissance of horror documentaries coming out now. Like we got a Tom Savini one a couple years ago, the Kane Hodder one, obviously the In Search of Darkness. Fucking what is it, up to 9 hours of just talking about horror movies from various periods of time. I'm all about that shit. We also got some cool stuff like that Snapper documentary that was on Screambox about the lost Jaws ripoff about a giant alligator snapping turtle. So many, just a lot of cool stuff to soak up knowledge if you're a horror nerd out there now.
And another one from the same team was Pennywise, the story of it. Do I have to full disclosure on this one? I did work for the team behind this film on the Police Academy documentary and the Night of the Demons one. So
nice.
There you go. So yes, finally got it. Not much of a description on this. This is on the life and career of Robert Englund and Krueger, of course. Since you took the name and you've killed people more. I mean, you've spilled real blood. So I'm gonna say, I don't know, putting you a little bit. I don't think Robert Englund's ever put a gusset plate into somebody's face. So you have that.
True.
Well, if he's available for a spot, we can make that happen.
Yeah, right.
I want to see Robert Englund hit a Canadian destroyer in the ring.
Oh my god!
Hold on, Robert.
That would be great. I guess I'm arguably the biggest fan of Robert Englund. I think here because he is my absolute favorite actor of all time. Anytime he's ever popped up in a movie, it's just made a movie better for me. Nightmare on Elm Street is my favorite film of all time, and he is just a fucking icon of horror. I've been waiting for this documentary to come out for a long time, and just this was everything I wanted in the documentary. I thought they did a really good job of just giving us little tidbits about his early stage performance career. I thought the fact that he was playing Peter Pan and he was getting like arrows shot at him and he had arrows sticking out of his ass. That was a funny little story he was talking about when people just started to notice his acting presence. And I'm glad that they covered all the classics he's been in. It was nice to see Galaxy of Terror get some mention on there and some praise because I do love that movie. And him and Sid Haig on screen together, interacting with each other. When I first saw that movie, it was such a big deal to me. So glad they brought that up. And the one thing I will say about this documentary that I liked a lot was they didn't spend a shit ton of time. Like they had a good portion of it on the Nightmare on Elm Street films.
I'm glad it wasn't a Freddy.
I'm so happy that they just they left that to I would say maybe a quarter, maybe even a little bit less, and they focused on all his other stuff that he had done after that as well. And just in general, Robert Englund is a fucking hero of mine. He's, like I said, my favorite actor of all time. And this was a beautiful little piece on his life that was everything I wanted out of it. I could have, even been watching it longer. They could have went in more depth with stuff, and I wouldn't have cared because this is a little bit of a longer one. It's about 2 hours, 20 minutes ish. But I was never bored, fully engaged through the whole documentary, and I thought it was great. Definitely one that I'm going to be adding into my collection of horror documentaries on the shelf, and I can't recommend it enough if you're a fan of Robert Englund, fan of Nightmare on Elm Street, or just, you've always wondered what was behind the makeup with Freddy Krueger and what was there as a person. This does a really good job of just showing how fucking awesome Robert Englund is.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you touched on, I was really glad because I'll be brutally honest. When they announced this, I was like, we have Never Sleep Again.
Yeah.
Like, I know as much as I possibly could know about the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. So when they announced it, I was like, it's probably just going to be more on Elm Street, which that doc is just so good that there's not a whole lot left to say about that franchise. So I was very happy that this didn't just focus on that. We kind of go into his early life, who he is as a person, and everything, his early theater work. There's a lot of photos in this doc that I'd never seen before.
Yeah, me either.
Photos that I thought was really, really cool. And yes, Robert Englund's a lot more than just Freddy. I mean, that is without a doubt the role he'll be remembered for. But of course, I really appreciated the early 70s work that they went into. Buster and Billy, the movie he did with Jan Michael Vincent, which he's really good in that one. It's kind of a post-World War II, Deep South romance. It's a really good movie. He had a lot of great stories on that. Really, I won't spoil it, but a really funny behind the scenes story on Hustle with Burt Reynolds, which is actually coming to Blu-ray. Well, actually it came to Blu-ray, I believe, just recently.
Kino?
Kino put that one out. I actually might pick it up. It's been a while. He played Hitman in that one, and he talks about a funny on-set accident with Burt Reynolds. Stay Hungry, which is the Schwarzenegger movie I forget about.
I didn't even know about that one.
Yeah, Robert Englund was in that, and Schwarzenegger factors into the documentary a little bit later because he talks about a canceled film, which was about the Crusades, where he was going to be in that with Robert Englund, and it just fell apart. I think it was called Crusade or something, but he talks a little bit about that because, of course, with actors, there's a lot of interesting projects that are announced, but they never happen. So I thought that was cool. I did appreciate the Great Smoky Roadblock, Trucker, 70s trucker movie he did with Henry Fonda and a young Susan Sarandon. He did a lot. He really doesn't get a lot of credit for that early work. Now, of course, you could argue his breakout role was V, because people forget the V miniseries was huge. That did ratings on the level of Roots at that point. I mean, that was a TV phenomenon. When you really go back and watch V, have you seen the original V Krueger?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Oh, cool. Okay, yeah. You look at that and you're like, and he talks about it in the doc. It's like, that's a hell of a jump from that to Freddy Krueger.
Yeah. He's this fun-loving, awkward alien character that's actually one of the good aliens in the series. Most of the aliens in that series are fucking bloodthirsty reptilians, but he's just a guy trying to be a part of society, and he's a little goofy and awkward, and then he goes from that to being a fucking child murderer that's torturing teenagers. Night and day difference. But I did also like that they brought up his work in Eaten Alive too, because that's kind of where you first see him be a villain too. I mean, he wasn't a huge part of that movie, but his character was pretty despicable, and getting to see him get taken out by the alligator too was always fun. So I think they covered all the basis of every every notable performance that he ever put out there.
There's a heavy focus on the pre-Elm Street stuff. They also talk about Big Wednesday, which it's been a while, but that's a movie I always really liked. It was kind of a John Milius directed it. It's a surfer movie with William Catt, who also a friend of his from his theater days that factors into some other interesting stories here. Gary Busey and Jan Michael Vincent were also in that. Mysterious 2, another TV movie he did. And of course, one that I think you saw for the first time not too long ago, Krueger, one of my personal favorites, Dead and Buried.
Yeah.
That's 81. Yeah. Yeah.
Dead and Buried fucking super underrated. I had it sitting on my shelf for like I had bought the 4K and it had been sitting on there a year, for at least a year, and then I threw it in a couple months ago and it totally blew my fucking mind. Like having Robert Englund in it was awesome, but I was also enamored with the fact that it had Grandpa from fucking Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in it too.
Dead and Buried's an amazing movie. Talks briefly about Galaxy of Terror and meeting James Cameron, who, if you know some of the behind the scenes on Galaxy of Terror, James Cameron was kind of a dick, but they don't go too much into that. And also Sid Haig, who gave him advice on what to do when he made his Vietnam movie in the Philippines. A lot of cool behind the scenes stuff. And like I said, I think it was just the right amount on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing that I think they could tell us about that we wouldn't already know. And I'm not the type of guy that just wants to hear the same old make-up stories again and again on Elm Street.
But they also could not cover it too. So it's
the right amount. The
it was
culture icon that he became, which he does talk a lot about that because, there was Freddy stuff everywhere. But yeah, I appreciated it. He also talks about meeting his wife, Nancy. Ironically.
Yeah.
And how they met. So it's a nice, fun, just personal doc. If it's lacking anywhere, and it's probably like, I do appreciate that they at least covered some of his more recent stuff. In particular, Last Showing.
Yeah, I need to see it. I need to see it.
You haven't seen it? Oh,
so there's like, dude, I've been like, I'm one of those guys that have been like banking Robert Englund movies for when I'm in the mood because I just don't want to run out of them.
Oh,
The Last Showing and what was it? Zombie Strippers. I need.
You
to
haven't watched that either. Okay.
No.
I mean,
I'm not going to shame you for not watching that one yet, but Last Showing needs to happen sooner.
Last Showing, as far as like a meaty role for him, and from what I understand, it's not cheap to get Robert Englund in a movie. Yeah. Last Showing is a featured role for him. It takes place in a movie theater, and you could tell that one, out of some of his recent work, he was particularly proud of. So
I think I'm like one of the only people that really likes the Fear Clinic movie because I liked it, man. Just getting to see Robert be an evil character like that again was cool for me.
See his ball sack in that one, so there's that.
Dude, that was so hilarious about the guy. I forgot what the guy's name was, but he was talking about having
Steve Johnson.
Yeah, he said, Steve Johnson having to talk about covering Robert Englund's cock and balls with like goo and shit. That was fucking great.
Also the whole time
about his shrinkage.
Yeah, the whole time he was probably looking at him. It's like, I've got some goo for you, Steve, while making eye contact. I don't know, but it's. I was really impressed with it. Obviously, you could have gone further again with it. I mean, I was like, man, I'll be really impressed if they bring up Star Quest 2, like the one that nobody ever talks about that he was in or something like that. But they didn't mention that one. But
they didn't mention his awesome rap career either.
Oh, shit. Yeah, they didn't.
They did not. But
I still have the... We'll have to show off our Freddy merchandise soon enough. We could yeah.
God, we fucking
Yeah.
forgot about that.
We'll do that soon.
That is going to be rough. I've got a lot.
Well, we'll plan
actually.
it out. We've been promising that
Yeah.
show soon, so
Yeah, we'll have to do
soon.
Well,
But
Todd, what about you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love this. Well, I you got to discount me on this one, but I loved it. You nailed it with like they just covered enough for Freddy. I mean, it's enough for someone who's new to it to get the gist of it, and it's not where we're gonna get bored. Well, not that we get bored, but not just 2 hours of stuff we already know. I like that it really just went in depth and like everything, even Dan's favorite part where they talk about Star Wars.
I think that's funny, William Catt. Like, it was almost mine. You know what? This might be a controversial opinion. I think William Catt might have ended up being a better Skywalker than
he was
Luke
going for a solo
than
though.
Hamill. Was he? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have gotten that though, because
I don't.
I see it
think,
more as Luke. I think it would have been better.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm a little more.
But I couldn't see. Then I got to have Luke as the greatest American hero. No, that doesn't work.
Luke couldn't pull off greatest American hero
or House. So they all got the right roles.
Once Mark Hamill kind of like fucked himself up in that accident, whatever it was, then it's like, okay, they learned how to act a little bit more along the way. He needed a little grizzle on him. I don't know. I think William Catt would have been good. I think he would have been good.
I'm not going to hate on William Catt. I'm a fan, but the curly hair just like, I don't know. That's not timeless. It's a little. What's up with the Jerry curl on William Catt over there in 1986? Yeah.
Well, 77, Todd, but okay.
No, I was doing House.
So. Just for the people unaware, Mark Hamill was like crashing on Robert Englund's couch, and he told him, "Hey, you should go audition for this role that he didn't feel he nailed." A lot of you probably heard that story, but that's the genesis. You would not have Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill might not have a career if it weren't for Robert Englund.
There you go.
There'd be no cock knocker. What kind of world would it be?
Also, if people were wondering, they do briefly touch upon the Stranger Things stuff too, which was nice because I think that was the last big thing he's done.
Yeah. I don't think you're going to find a more comprehensive Robert Englund documentary. Well, while you will find a more comprehensive Freddy documentary, put these two together and you got everything. You got
everything you would ever want to know about Robert and the Nightmare on Elm Street.
We don't need another documentary on either of these two now. It's covered.
Yeah, no, it's definitely the definitive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another one I'd throw out that I don't believe they mentioned, and it's a smaller role, so it's fair enough. Mole Man of Belmont Avenue. Robert Englund is hilarious in that movie. That's one of those, it just came out. I don't think it was even a name label on DVD, and he is just fucking hilarious in Mole Man of Belmont Avenue. If you're a fan, that's another one to track down. I don't know if it's still in print or not, but track down the DVD. It'll put a smile on your face. Yeah, and the Goldbergs. I know you're a Goldbergs mark, Todd.
Yeah, I
watch it.
I actually remember when that episode got announced, like that I had to tune in, like right when it fucking came on TV, and it was awesome to see him in the makeup again. Because a couple years ago, or he said like a few different times that he's never going to put it on again, and
put it on,
and then he put it on again. I think the last time he did it was a couple years ago, or actually he may have done one recently.
I get it. Like for the conventions, there's a difference of going to the convention, doing the makeup for a day versus shooting a movie.
Yeah, no,
it's a lot.
you could tell like he's kind of over it now because he and like sir, you can be fucking over it. You've you've done your time in the fucking makeup chair enough. So I feel you 100%. But like when he's like it's the newer pictures, he's like in a comfy sweater and stuff, like not even red and green sweater and like sweatpants. And I'm like, if I was you, dude, I'd be the same fucking way because I'd be so over being in that chair for fucking 5 hours.
If we can get young Harrison Ford, we can get Freddy without Robert Englund actually being in.
Yeah.
Question, because I don't really recall. Todd, you met Robert Englund, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you've met him. What
Fangoria.
was he like for you?
I only got to speak with a few minutes because he technically wasn't like at the convention. He just showed up and jumped on a panel.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, the only interaction was when like he was just kind of walking around seeing people as he left. So, I mean, he was cool and friendly with everyone there.
I met him 4 or 5 times as far as actually talking to him. But the one time I got to talk to him and have like somewhat a short but like real conversation was one of the celebrity dinners that they did. Special thing. I think it was Monster Mania. And I talked to him actually in depth about True Detective. He's a True Detective fan, and I just got to talk to him about that.
Did you talk to him about the Daddario?
What was that again, Todd? I'm sorry.
I said, did you talk to him about the Daddario scene?
I did not. That would be awesome, though. Can you imagine Robert Englund? How about them tits on Daddario? I think season 2.
You know, I got to send this to the.
That's okay. But no, he was talking about that. I think season 2 might have. I don't remember if season 2 was out or not. But it was right around then, and just got to talk to him about that. I will actually also throw this out because I saw somebody do this, and then they went online and talked about just shit talked him. If a celebrity's having a meal at not a restaurant, but at the little bar thing at the convention, and they're eating, don't tap them on the shoulder for a photo at that moment. Because like he's like, maybe when I'm done. Like he was very polite, and I saw this, and it was like, then I could see later he's what a dick, and I was like, no, he was. He said, I don't know. That just always bothers me.
Celebrities are people too.
Let him eat. He was
if
watching.
They're eating, they're shitting, they're pissing, just let him be.
Yeah.
I remember that when I got to meet Doug Bradley, and I tried to catch him in the hallway. He was heading to the bathroom. I was like, all right, I'll wait.
There are shameless people. I've known not even
kid.
Big celebrities, but they'll like slide like shit like under a fucking stall.
If you did that, I'm gonna fucking sign it with something that's not a fucking pen.
I'm going. Well, I hope there's a show. I'll send some of the. We'll just say a blank piece of paper under that stall.
Yeah, right.
Some fans are weird. It might be priceless collectible.
Yeah, that shit's going on eBay for $70,000 if it's Robert Englund's piss.
Anyways, yeah. I'm curious. You guys in the comments will have to post your favorite Robert Englund movie that's not a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, and if you want to, put your favorite Elm Street movie too. But what is your favorite movie that wasn't a part of that franchise?
Honestly, for me, is like, even though he doesn't have like a big role in it, it's probably Eaten Alive.
Oh, Eaten Alive is great.
I fucking love that goddamn movie, dude. I mean, shit. So did Ty West. Look at fucking X. I mean, it's basically like the Eaten Alive concept. But yeah, Eaten Alive. I mean, Dead and Buried. Even though he's not in a huge role in that either. That's another one of the best. As far as like showcase performances, though, 2000 Maniacs. I mean, you don't get much better.
2001 Maniacs is really good.
Yeah, that would probably have to be my pick. But I'm going to do a supporting role, a mainstream supporting role that he doesn't get the credit for. Dan, do you know what it is? What film I'm talking about that he kills it in?
I don't off the top of my head.
That would be from, well, I'm going to get the year right, 1990. See, I was going to say 89. The Adventures of Ford Fairlane.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He references that briefly in the doc, I remember. But yeah, no, that he's great in that. There's a lot of little obscure stuff too. Like I said, Star Quest 2, it's not a good movie, but that's like one that I don't know, people just forget he did.
Night Terrors.
Windfall, which was like a sorry. Night Terrors. Night Terrors isn't great, but yeah, there's
I'm
Terrors.
changing my answer too. I'm sorry. I love 2001 Maniacs. My poster's right there. But I got to go Phantom of the Opera as my favorite from him.
See, you know, I've been kind of sitting on that one too. And after watching this watching this documentary, I'm like, oh, dude, I'm gonna fucking flip the fuck out when I watch this thing.
Yeah,
I watched Phantom of the Opera.
No, I haven't. I blind bought the Blu-ray when it went on sale, like on Amazon a few years ago, and I've been waiting for a special day for it.
Ben Grimm, urban legend.
Like Robert Englund movies are like my fucking 60 years, aged fucking whiskey. I gotta pop it out on special occasions.
Windfall is one that's not.
Do it.
Yeah, do Phantom. Windfall, another one, not a great movie, but it's like a heist disaster movie that he did with Casper Van Dien was in it, and a couple other names were in that one. I'm naming some of the really obscure shit now, but he's really good in that one too. Anytime you get to see him do something a little bit different, like he wasn't the villain in that one, he was like the partner of Casper Van Dien.
It was cool for them to talk about the film that he directed too. Was it 976 Evil?
976 Evil, yeah.
Yeah, which I actually enjoyed that movie. I never saw the sequel though.
It's fun.
The sequel's fun. It's totally different. It's Jim Wynorski, so it's a different tone.
Yeah, very different.
But it's I like that one too. Totally different movies, totally different reasons, but yeah.
So why don't we rate this thing?
All right. Let's do that. Real quick, Ben Grimm brought up Dance of the Dead episode of Masters of Horror 2. That's another good one. But all right.
I forgot about that.
Okay, I'll let you go first, Krueger. What do you I know the answer.
Yeah, it's a 5 out of 5 for me. It was everything I wanted and more, and we all said it, but I'm glad that they didn't make this a Nightmare on Elm Street doc. It's definitely a Robert Englund doc through and through, and they spent just the right amount of time on Elm Street and his other films.
I am a 4 out of 5. I thought it was great, and hey, I could have done another hour.
Yeah, I'm with you guys on this one. I'm actually with Krueger on it because I'm also a 5 because it left me wanting no more. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the documentaries they have in the pipeline.
Yeah,
I know COVID slowed up a lot of them, but now we're getting Pennywise. We got this. I know we got the Police Academy one coming and Robo Doc. So, and Night of the Demons, but yeah.
So, guys, be sure to check. Oh, sorry, Krueger, go ahead.
I was gonna say, just if you want more Nightmare on Elm Street, Robert Englund related talk, me and Todd reviewed every single episode of Freddy's Nightmares, season 1 and 2. So go check those out and check out our reviews on that. Also check out our Nightmare on Elm Street retrospective of the whole franchise that we did. That I remember, I think we did that fucking 3 years ago now. Goddamn. But great long talk about all the movies in depth, and I think that's all the stuff I could think related off the top of my head.
Yep, and we'll have that merch show coming down the line.
Yep.
So guys, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Todd.
Good evening.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.